In July of 1947, something strange happened in the quiet desert of Roswell, New Mexico. A rancher discovered debris scattered across his land, metallic fragments, strange foil-like material that didn't burn, and beams with symbols no one could explain. At first, the US military admitted it. They had recovered a flying disc. But just one day later, the story changed. Suddenly, it was nothing more than a weather balloon. 76 years later, people are still asking, what really happened at Roswell? Tonight, we're diving into one of the most famous mysteries of the 20th century, a tale of secrecy, government cover-ups, UFOs, and the moment America's obsession with aliens truly began. And don't worry, we'll try not to get abducted by the end of this video. Unless YouTube's algorithm is run by aliens, in which case, hello, Your Extraterrestrial Highness. The story begins on a ranch owned by William Mac Brazel, about 75 miles north of Roswell. On July 3rd or 4th, after a violent thunderstorm, Brazel rode out to check his sheep and found something bizarre. Scattered across the desert were metallic fragments, foil-like material that returned to its shape after being crushed, beams with strange markings that looked like hieroglyphics, and pieces unlike anything he had ever seen before. At first, he ignored it. But when the debris stretched hundreds of feet across the desert floor, he realized it wasn't just some old junk. Here's where things get weird. Locals who handled the material said it was indestructible. It didn't burn. It didn't bend normally. Some even claimed it was not from this earth. Joke drop. Now, to be fair, this was the 1940s. If I found something shiny in the desert back then, I'd probably think it was from Mars, too. These people didn't even have microwaves yet. They thought Jell-O salad was futuristic. The Army steps in when Brazel reported his discovery to the Roswell sheriff, George Wilcox. The military quickly got involved. The Roswell Army Airfield, home to the only nuclear bomber squadron in the world at the time, dispatched officers to investigate. Major Jesse Marcel was one of the first on site. He later claimed that what he saw was not of this world. Here's where things exploded. On July 8, 1940, the Roswell Army issued a press release stating they had recovered a flying disc. This was the first and only time the US military admitted to recovering something like that. Newspapers went wild. Headlines screamed about UFOs. The public was electrified. But within 24 hours, the Army changed its story. Now they claimed it was nothing but a weather balloon. That's like announcing you found a dragon in your backyard and then saying, "Oops, sorry folks, it was just a pigeon." The cover-up, why did the story change so quickly? The official explanation: military intelligence had made a mistake. The debris was actually from Project Mogul, a top-secret program that used high-altitude balloons to spy on Soviet nuclear tests. But skeptics point out that the Roswell crash site was guarded like Fort Knox. Witnesses claimed strange materials were taken away in trucks, and local civilians were threatened into silence. One nurse from the Roswell base allegedly reported seeing alien bodies before vanishing. Families of officers swore their loved ones spoke of small humanoid figures recovered from the crash. And then there's Major Marcel. In interviews years later, he maintained until his death that what he saw was not a balloon, not a plane, not from Earth. Listen, if my boss told me, "Hey, go out there and pick up some balloon scraps," I'd roll my eyes and call it a day. But if they told me, "Guard this junk with your life, never speak about it again, or else," yeah, I'd start thinking maybe it wasn't just a balloon. UFO mania and witnesses. Roswell became the spark for America's UFO craze. In the decades following, hundreds of witnesses came forward. Some said they saw wreckage, others swore they handled alien technology, and a few claimed the military transported alien bodies to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. By the 1990s, the U.S. Air Force released not one but two reports trying to squash the rumors. The second report claimed people had mistaken parachute dummies for alien bodies. Let's just pause for a second. Imagine you live in 1947, you see soldiers carrying out a weird body, and then 50 years later the government tells you, "Oh, don't worry, that wasn't an alien. It was just a crash test dummy we dropped from a balloon." Yeah, totally believable. Theories that won't die over the years, dozens of theories have emerged. Alien crash, the classic explanation. Extraterrestrials visiting Earth, and the government covering it up. Soviet experiment. Some claim it was a Soviet test aircraft with altered human pilots, meant to cause panic. Secret U.S. tech. Another theory is that it was classified American technology, too advanced to reveal. Project Mogul, the official government stance, just a balloon with microphones attached. But here's the kicker. Roswell's balloon was supposedly carrying microphones to detect nuclear explosions. Yet locals swore the debris looked nothing like ordinary balloon material. And how do you mistake strange hieroglyphics for classified balloon parts? Roswell today, Roswell is both a tourist town and a symbol of secrecy. It's filled with UFO museums, alien-themed diners, and yearly festivals celebrating the crash. But beyond the neon green alien souvenirs lies the deeper mystery. Did something truly otherworldly happen in 1947? Or was it simply Cold War paranoia wrapped in desert dust? The truth may never be known. But one thing's for sure, Roswell changed the way we see the skies forever. Maybe someday the government will open its files and give us the truth. Or maybe, like those strange materials found in the desert, the truth will just slip through our fingers, impossible to bend, impossible to burn, impossible to forget.